have a profound concern and a genuine imperative from the Holy Spirit to communicate with you what I am about to communicate with you. I am going to talk about very important things. We are currently residing in a time that is becoming progressively more perilous. I have been stating it for a few years. The world has become perilous. However, the peril of this world is now growing exponentially. It is not just the danger present in our social relationships and the insecurity prevailing in our countries and in the world, especially in France, that we need to address and find solutions for. There exist further serious things concealed, lurking in the shadows and beginning to emerge into the forefront of attention. I inform you from the celestial realm that in this current year, we have embarked upon a period characterized by a rapid and significant increase in darkness. The onset of darkness in this world is undoubtedly going to be absolutely blatant and impossible to ignore. During this year, a significant number of unbelievers will surrender and acknowledge that there has been a noticeable shift in their beliefs. I would like to read Matthew 24:37. What happened in the time of Noah will happen the same way at the coming of the Son of Man. The parousia, the arrival of Christ, is divided into two essential stages, the initial and the final phase. The primary stage is referred to as the rapture of the church, which denotes the abrupt and unseen disappearance from the world of genuine born-again Christians who have undergone a spiritual transformation. And the second part is the return of Jesus to earth, who comes to reign for 1,000 years. The second coming of Jesus is imminent. There will be several years of tribulation that I strongly advise you to avoid, as they will be extremely dreadful. Currently, we are experiencing a situation, and I have already discussed it on my YouTube channel. We are going through the early birth pangs at the moment. There are birth pains before the tribulations, which are pains of persecution and the rise of evil in the world. This is what we'll experience, what we're experiencing. This is what will intensify until reaching a point where God will take his children and evil will go even further for 7 years, after which Jesus returns. It is important to consider in Matthew 24:37 that what happened in the time of Noah will happen in the same way at the coming of the Son of Man. So here we take the Advent and the parousia in these two significations. The events that were occurring during the time of Noah will experience exponential growth shortly before Jesus returns to earth. However, the events that occurred during Noah's time will already be present, strongly evident on earth, just prior to the rapture of the church. What happened in the time of Noah identifies the coming of the Lord in two phases, as I have explained to you. And thus the events that will transpire in the present era are precisely analogous to the occurrences that took place during the period of Noah. We need to comprehend that there is an extremely crucial element in the narrative of why God destroyed the earth by completely flooding it with water, leading to its annihilation. Why did God destroy the old world? What was the reason behind God's visitation to the earth? Completely annihilated all life on earth, leaving only Noah and 7 individuals accompanying him, which includes his 3 sons, his 3 daughters-in-law, and his wife in the ark. And from the ark, a new creation started once more. This is the key point when we witness what occurred in Noah's time. We witness multiple signs, but the most crucial and essential sign is to comprehend the underlying reason behind God's devastating destruction of the old world. He annihilated it as a result of a significant alteration in genetics and the process of hybridization, which involved the interbreeding of human and animal species, leading to an irreversible transformation. What is the process of hybridization? Can you explain what a hybrid flesh is and how it is formed? I'm curious to learn more about these concepts. It is a hybrid resulting from the combination of two varieties, which can be either from the same species or from two different species belonging to the same genus. I would like to make an announcement at this juncture that although it is indeed possible to hybridize within the realm of culture and within the plant kingdom involving several species, if it is indeed possible to hybridize within the realm of the animal world involving several species, it is not possible to hybridize between humans and animals. I want to be very focused because what I'm saying is super important and will be very dense. You have the option to listen again. Let us proceed to Genesis chapter 6 verse 4 for further reference. The giants were present on the earth during that time, following the arrival of the sons of God, who interacted with the daughters of men and had children with them. These are the individuals who achieved fame and recognition in the distant past during the period known as antiquity. Upon reading this text, you will likely say, Pastor, you just told us that hybridization is not possible. But here, it seems that these giants, the heroes of antiquity, the gods of antiquity, the legends of antiquity, who therefore existed and were real according to this text, are a product of the hybridization between man and animal, a phenomenon that challenges our understanding of history and mythology. I will provide an explanation to you. I will provide an explanation to you in detail regarding what occurred. Angels, a certain number of angels sent by God have descended to earth. They had a mission, but unfortunately, they failed their mission. I will skip over this mission for now. It is worth noting that they were tempted to have offspring with human women. Additionally, they were tempted to have sexual relations with both men and women, not just limited to humans. They desired and longed for this. It is the great temptation, a massive temptation, leading to the downfall of one's sexual morality and integrity. I would like to create a reminder. The reason God destroyed the old world was because of genetic modifications in the DNA that occurred as a result of the acts of mixing between angels and humans. These modifications were considered unacceptable and led to the downfall of the world as it was known. And we will comprehend the nature of the mixture that has occurred. And we will come to understand that in the present day, the Satanists, the Luciferians, those who are actively preparing for the reign of the Antichrist, have an unwavering determination to rediscover the long-lost secret of the book of Genesis, specifically chapter 6 verse 4, provides insight into the events that occurred during that time. Their objective is to rebuild giants. Their intention is to create giants akin to an army with the purpose of providing support for the upcoming global battle that lies ahead. These are military technologies utilized in the quest for hybridization of humans and animals, in the pursuit of hybridization between humans and computer technology, and in the advancement of metal technology, aiming to combine the strengths of different domains and push the boundaries of technological capabilities. I made an announcement stating that the Antichrist would be manufactured, repaired, and equipped with a multitude of electronic devices as well as mechanical and robotic devices, thereby emphasizing the extensive technological capabilities of this entity. However, whatever he intends to do, he will make sure to prepare himself with formidable creatures. He desires to equip himself with giants. He desires to equip himself with an army that will possess the power of a force that is greater than that of a fighter who is human. The conflict will be of such magnitude that it will involve combat in technological warfare, including the use of nuclear weapons and rifles, as well as hand-to-hand combat between armies. What the world's armies want to avoid, what they say, is that now if there are wars, there is no more hand-to-hand combat. However, they are wrong, or they knew exactly what they were saying by intentionally lying to the world. Due to the nature of the wars that are to come, we can anticipate an escalation in close combat conflicts where armies will be astonished to see hybrids and robots fighting and having the upper hand right in front of them, leaving them shocked and struggling to adapt to this new reality on the battlefield. I come back to my text. The ultimate goal of Satan was to preserve a hybrid race in order to exert complete dominance over mankind on earth, ensuring their continued subjugation and control for generations to come. However, he was completely unaware of one crucial thing. The human soul is incapable of sustaining life, and it cannot thrive within a physical body that is a combination of genetic material from multiple sources. Human and animal deoxyribonucleic acid. If there is a mixture and the body is viable, it means there is a demon spirit animating it. Allow me to provide an explanation. Let's proceed further. The old world was destroyed by God, and we now possess this knowledge due to the angels who committed sins and subsequently fell from grace. So they engaged in sexual relations with humans. They were unable to procreate with men, as men did not possess the genetic material or organs necessary for procreation to occur between them. So it's the woman who has procreated. However, in any case, women have given birth to children. And these children are precisely as stated in the text we just read in Genesis 6:4, hybrids who were of gigantic stature and size, according to the biblical account. The example with the descendants of Anak, when the Jewish people, when Israel entered the land that was promised to them, when the Hebrews entered the land that was promised to them and had to engage in battles with the indigenous populations. These populations were actually a remaining group of the offspring of the Nephilim, genes that remained. And those who inhabited these giants were not human souls, they were demons. Hence they abstained from killing humans and opted to eradicate a wicked species that presented a diabolical menace to their survival and the harmony of their realm. I won't go any further into the explanation here, but I would like you to stay focused on the fact that Genesis chapter 6 and verse 9 give us the key to why God destroyed this ancient world. The occurrence of an overflow, a genetic disorder, and the presence of monsters on earth led to this situation that we are currently facing. According to Genesis 6:9, we can gather that Noah, who was a righteous and upright man, played a significant role in the events described during that period. The correct term to use in this specific context is the Hebrew word tzaddik, which signifies moral integrity, a remarkably high degree of spirituality, and a profound connection to the divine. The tzaddik in the Old Testament is generally a man who lives with the Holy King, the Spirit of God. He is an individual who is still a human being and has not yet been morally, spiritually, and physically corrupted. The second term used in this context is Noah, who was described as a righteous and blameless man. The word blameless is derived from the Hebrew word tamim, which is used in the Old Testament to indicate animals that could be offered as sacrifices to God without any physical defects. The term tamim in this context refers to a physical anomaly. This anomaly can manifest in various ways, including genetic abnormalities and noticeable physical characteristics. Noah was able to be preserved because he was among the few individuals who had not become corrupted in their genetics, thus ensuring his preservation. This is a reminder that I am giving you because I have already spoken, and others have also spoken on this matter. I would recommend that if you are looking for additional information, you should go to my highly important Didasco courses. I am taking 40 online courses. If there are a few courses that you absolutely must take, I really recommend courses 17, 18, 19, and 20. Make sure you don't miss these classes. Go and listen attentively to this. You will have all the revelations about the two floods, about angels and demons. And you'll have more precision than what I'm providing. But here I'm giving you something that is a revelation that goes beyond what I have been able to include in my classes or articulate in other sermons or on my YouTube channel. Let's read 2 Peter 2:4-5. For if God didn't spare the angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell and committed them to chains of gloomy darkness to be kept until the judgment, if he did not spare the ancient world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, the eighth, that means there were 8 of them. There were 7 others. You can find that in Genesis 8:18, January 3rd, 20. So there were a total of 8 individuals present inside the ark. He saved Noah. And we can understand in Jude 1:6, furthermore, I will regularly read in everyday French, remember the angels who do not, were discontent with the power that was given to them and chose to abandon their own dwelling as it no longer met their needs and aspirations. Peter tells us that if God did not spare, but if he saves us in Jesus Christ, and if he allows us to escape, we must read the entire text. Because it is said, if he punished those who deserved punishment, if he spared those who deserved to be spared, it is evident that what is happening today, similar to the time of Noah, will lead us to salvation. I want to bring you the good news that if you understand what is happening today, which is still veiled, hidden, and will soon be revealed, if you understand it, you can already escape the great tribulation that is coming, and you can escape the thick darkness that is coming this year in the world. Remember the angels, Jude 1:6, who did not stay within the limits of authority God gave them, but abandoned their proper dwelling. God keeps them in the darkness down below, securely chained, waiting for the great day of judgment to come. What transpired? They descended, they encountered failure in what was bestowed upon them as power and their mission, and they morally corrupted themselves through sexual interactions with humans, ultimately giving birth to a hybrid race of beings that possessed a combination of their divine and human traits. The Bible states that everything we see in mythology, whether Greek or other, Egyptian as well, everything we see in these ancient stories, a large part is true. Because the Bible says there were giants, there were strange beings on this earth. There were entities that had become incompatible and could no longer coexist harmoniously with the human population. That is why God purified the earth. It is because of these creatures and colossal beings. We possess an understanding that the Cyclopes were indeed real and existed in the past. I inform you that ogres did indeed exist. Ogres were the offspring of Nephilim, ancient beings who possessed an insatiable hunger for raw human flesh and a thirst for blood, as they dwelled in a realm characterized by primal, animalistic behavior and instincts. And I will clarify it. There have been individuals with avian heads. There have been individuals with lupine heads, frequently depicted by the Egyptians, by the way. Men with hooves, all the way down like the bottom of a horse. It's not just stories. And people will think I'm crazy. But it doesn't matter because I know what I've seen. And the truth is undeniable. Science ultimately manages over the years and generations to demonstrate things. And we will not wait for science, since those who will remain stuck on this earth will witness them with their own eyes, without the need for scientific validation or confirmation. These spirits that animated these bodies, since you have understood that there was an illegal birth, in a mixture between the DNA of angels and humans, and that it resulted in the creation of these cyclops, these centaurs, and various other beings, and that for the most part they existed, and upon their destruction left behind some genes that gradually disappeared over time until the Israelite conquest of Canaan, which marked the takeover of the land by the Israelites and the end of their presence. This is the example of Goliath, who was a superhuman and also had brothers who were superhumans and giants. And so this matter is officially concluded today, marking the finalization of the process that has been ongoing for an extended period of time. I bring you to the following reflection. When Satan entered the Garden of Eden, he did not present himself as an angelic being. Instead, he disguised himself as a cunning creature, deceiving Eve with his animalistic appearance and intentions. Why? I will provide you with the revelation. Satan, upon entering the Garden of Eden, was unable to disguise himself and conceal his true identity from those present. In order to masquerade as an angel of light, he is only able to do so when he ventures into a space, specifically a kingdom, that is inherently sinful and where the presence of light no longer reigns supreme. At that time he may arrive in disguise, but in the glory and presence of God he is unable to conceal his true identity. He is automatically revealed. Therefore he was unable to enter the Garden of Eden in the hideous, terrible form of fallen Satan due to his unveiled appearance. As a result, he could not come into the Garden of Eden in his fallen state. He no longer had that light and glory of the glorious angel, but he was fallen and he was hideous. If he had introduced himself in that manner, Eve would have run away. He had to present himself in a certain form. Therefore, he could not present himself as he truly was. He could not present himself as an angel of light. Too much light and no sin in the garden, he would have been recognized. Therefore, he made the decision to portray his existence in the shape of a creature, because the angel, in instances of disobedience and the inclination to reveal oneself, has the ability to adopt the appearance of an animal as a means of manifestation and self-presentation. There is something strange. Genesis chapter 3 verse 1. The serpent was the most cunning of all the animals in the field that the Lord had made. He said to the woman, did God really say that? Okay, I want to know the truth. Why the choice of a serpent? The Bible informs us that it was selected due to its high level of cunning. Satan said, I must incarnate myself in a cunning animal. I need to approach the man in a way that he knows and that will not frighten him. However, in order to embody this serpent, there exists a mystery. This is because there is no explicit mention anywhere of Satan being incarnated or explicitly possessing the serpent. It is said that the serpent was Satan. This means that there is a mystery. Satan made his way inside and successfully obtained the DNA of the animal through his actions, with the aim of forming a physical body in order to manifest in front of Eve in a tangible and corporeal manner. This is how witches and Satanists gain the understanding that they can utilize animals and tamper with their DNA, as angels cannot directly access the human realm, but can reach the animal kingdom, which is devoid of a soul. This knowledge empowers them to exploit and manipulate the animals, as they lack the same spiritual essence as humans. There is a mystery. In Revelation 22, it is written, he seized the dragon, the ancient serpent. God does not state that he seized a fallen angel, he seized a serpent. There is something mysterious in the fact that Satan presented himself in the form of an animal, not incarnated, but much more than that. Much more than just possessing, mixing, or retrieving genetic material from various species of animals. What transpired when the angels descended? How did they have the capability to assume a physical form? And what was the DNA composition of the fleshly form that allowed them to disobey God and to go and impregnate women, thus deviating from divine command? Is it not, We have frequently posed the question to ourselves, how was an angel gendered and how were they able to assume a physical form? This has been a topic of contemplation for us. The angels that arrived did not possess any physical form at the time when God sent them. However, at the moment they chose to disobey, they emulated Satan, who assumed a form, or at least the flesh of an animal, in their imitation. And thus, they equipped themselves and were able to obtain the necessary reproductive and genetic material in order to successfully conceive and initiate the process of reproduction. And so what they did, they combined animal DNA together in order to create something new. There is no DNA of angels. Angels do not have DNA because they do not have blood like us. They lack flesh like humans. As a result, they had to obtain genetic material already present on earth in order to make up for this absence. And utilizing this material, they proceeded to impregnate the women with the help of this substance. Living entities have come alive and taken form within the woman's body, bringing it to life. The reason is not that God took a human soul to put it into the bodies of these monsters, but rather that fallen spirits and Satan, with their malevolent intent, have sent demon spirits into these bodies, causing them to become vessels of darkness and horror. And at the time when they gave birth to these giants and strange beings, who were half men and half animals, possessing incredible strength comparable to that of animals, they also bestowed upon them the gift of long life, enabling them to live for extended periods of time. A shark lives for a very long time, a turtle lives for a very long time, and I heard something very serious. Researchers are looking for ways to retrieve this DNA or genetic material to mix it with human product, so that humans can live longer and regain the abilities of animals, the abilities of the eagle. However, their research encounters an obstacle. What some individuals may not be aware of is that God created the human spirit in a state of perfection, with the intention of residing in a physical form that would be meticulously crafted and manufactured through exclusive genetics, specifically through exclusive DNA, ensuring a unique and unparalleled design. And so this exclusive DNA is human DNA. What it reproduces in the laboratory is not viable at the moment, due to the fact that it combines the DNA of humans and animals. As a result, the soul of a human is unable to penetrate or enter. However, the moment is approaching when Satan will be responsible for causing demons to enter. And the moment is fast approaching when we will witness truly astonishing and mind-boggling things unfold in this world of ours. Objects that are already present in the laboratory and carefully concealed. What I want to explain, what I want to clarify, is that in the process of genetic transformation and the study of DNA modification, or the combination of DNA from different species, it is absolutely impossible for them to convert us into animals or any other non-human creatures through these methods. It is impossible that there is a movie, and I want to reassure you about it. It is a movie that has sparked reactions. It is a French movie released on October 4th, 2023, titled The Animal Kingdom. I don't know if you have seen this movie. This movie is apparently very playful. It is a story, but it stems from a desire of the satanic to reach this point. However, they lie, and they will not succeed in their deceitful endeavors to achieve their sinister goals. And a large number of people are terrified because of this. However, what we need to know is that through the manipulation of genetics, there can be a certain part of the body that has the ability to absorb animal genetics and incorporate them into its own genetic makeup. But not entirely, not in a manner that would result in a complete product. So we must pray, and we must be extremely cautious, because demonic spirits come to infiltrate our minds with the potential for such things to occur, and we need to guard against their influence. Therefore, we must inform all those who have seen this movie that it is a work of fiction and will remain as such. However, behind this fiction lies a desire of Satanists to prepare mindsets to return to the state of the Nephilim, and the children of the Nephilim to return to that state before the flood in order to provoke God. Where does this lead me? I am offering explanations to you. What is the reason? To convey the message that we should not live in fear, because the capabilities of humans in the areas of genetics and manipulation have inherent limitations that prevent them from going too far. Man can manipulate human DNA with human DNA and create clones. It is an abomination before God. But man has been trying for a long time now to mix the animal kingdom. And they are reaching a point today where they think they will succeed, but it's demons who will embody what they will produce. We will not be here anymore, and I wish for you to hold on to Jesus, give your life to Jesus, and not be here during the second half of the 7 years of tribulation, when there will be such chaos on earth, where people will die of terror and others will seek to die, but will not be able to. To meet one's demise out of sheer terror when confronted with a creation that seems to possess the qualities of life, that seems to possess human attributes, yet is devoid of true humanity, and surpasses anything we could possibly fathom in the darkest recesses of our nightmares. I say this, let's set aside we have understood that the fallen angels are locked up, they are chained, that their children are dead, that their spirits have left these bodies, and they could not go retrieve other bodies since their progenitors are locked in darkness and can no longer interact with humans. So these giants of antiquity, these stories of cyclopes, etc., and ogres and other creatures met their demise. And when they met their demise, their bodies decayed, were buried, turned to dust, and the demonic spirit emerged from within. And this evil spirit is currently active in the world. I would like to provide an explanation to you. Exercise great caution to avoid sexual sin. Exercise great caution, gentlemen, to abstain from using a woman's body like Sodom and Gomorrah's inhabitants did. I solemnly inform you. Exercise extreme caution to avoid objectifying women as mere sexual objects. Because the demons that were in these hybrid bodies, which have been navigating since antiquity, are now being requisitioned by Satan in a stronger way to bring defilement into our societies. These are demons who originated from sexual defilement, who have lived their entire lives in a state of sexual defilement, who have consumed, who have experienced cannibalism by ingesting the flesh of another being. Not all demons have encountered the same experiences in a hybrid body that they have undergone in their existence. These demons currently unleashed are approaching the church, intending to unleash their destructive power and defile the sacred space, with the ultimate aim of recreating an atmosphere of sexual immorality reminiscent of the pre-flood era. What existed prior to the flood was a state of total immorality, characterized by the presence of blood drinkers and cannibals. At present, the Satanists are expediting their ritual with the intention of ingesting blood and consuming human flesh as part of their practice. I have been to Africa enough to tell you that I have observed that today, not just in Africa, but also very certainly in Brazil and India, in India it is even worse, where they take baby flesh to eat like animals and call it the cannibal spirit and call upon the animal forces within them. They are deceived by Satan. They believe that by doing this they will regain what they've lost. However, they will achieve nothing apart from incurring the wrath and anger of God. So these spirits are gradually becoming more and more active with each passing day. In the present day, the ultimate goal of the Antichrist is to implement an agenda in which the global population is rendered unable to distinguish between their male and female identities, thereby paving the way for the insidious infiltration of sexual defilement and the subsequent destabilization of human consciousness on a massive scale. What was taking place before the flood? Because there was no differentiation or delineation between males and females, there existed a state of equality and sameness. All individuals indulged as they pleased. And the Nephilim, these giants and monsters, did not hesitate to ensure that humans became like them, were degraded to the animal kingdom in their reproductive relationships, in their emotional relationships, and in their food consumption, thereby mirroring the Nephilim's characteristics and lifestyle. The Lord has clearly indicated to me that the research on cell nuclei and DNA is experiencing rapid expansion, and individuals with significant wealth are investing a substantial amount of money in order to accomplish genetic modification on a global scale. What researchers are seeking is to modify human DNA with animal DNA and to modify human DNA with transformed human DNA in order to achieve specific genetic modifications. Why? For what reason? To what end? So that our capacity for obedience is diminished, our ability to resist is weakened, our state of enslavement is intensified, the negative side effects we experience are exacerbated, and conceivably with the potential objective of reducing the overall global population. I am discussing the Antichrist ideology in this context, and I encourage everyone to interpret this discourse according to their own perspective. I have given a cautionary statement. I have issued a warning, and I am explicitly informing you that the plan that is forthcoming is a pollution that will adversely affect every single thing that we consume. Due to their increased production, utilization of more chemicals, and implementation of self-control measures, it can be inferred that around 90% of the food worldwide is supplied by a limited number, let's say between 12 and 15, of prominent brands and corporations operating in the industry. And these major corporations are such powerful financial lobbies that even state regulatory bodies can no longer intervene in their manufacturing processes. This is how they also have control over distribution and manufacturing. I feel great sorrow for our farmers, but I don't want to be defeatist, although I think the game is lost for them. Please forgive me. I do not wish to be defeatist. We must persevere, but the current outlook is not promising. The existing system is a system that no longer desires to go back and will not return to its previous state. Jesus is the solution. If you're a farmer and follow, you won't hang, you won't commit suicide. Give your life to Jesus because it will be difficult and impossible. Read the Bible and you will see that it will be impossible to overturn the machine. At this moment, we find ourselves in a cycle that is irreversible and devoid of any opportunity for change or turning back. What occurred during the time of Noah? The Bible informs us that he was consuming and imbibing. Why is it mentioned that he consumed, drank, and got married? He consumed, drank, and got married. The ceremony was uniting them in marriage, woman with woman, man with man, as they celebrated their love and commitment to each other. They were in the process of eating. What were they eating? They were eating human flesh and drinking blood for sustenance. Today, we are entering a system where our food has become dangerous due to the products used to process, package, and produce more. I caution the individuals of the divine. Be mindful of your food. Be mindful of your beverages. It is written in the Apocalypse that a star fell called wormwood, and it polluted a third of the waters. The waters will gradually become more and more polluted, posing an increasingly deadly threat. Pray, So you will say to me, Pastor, what is the message that you want to convey to us? I hope you comprehend between the lines, because we are stepping into a period where publicly not everything can be expressed. Comprehend for yourself. Conduct your analysis. Attempt to interpret the implicit meaning of what you are being provided, what you are being compelled to consume in specific beverages. I am not joking. So, what is the solution to this problem that we are currently facing right now? The recommended course of action is to ingest my blood and consume my flesh as a means of finding a solution to the problem at hand. Jesus said, whoever drinks my blood and eats my flesh, whoever eats my flesh and drinks my blood will have eternal life. I advise individuals who belong to the divine realm to participate in the sacred feast as frequently as they can. The absorption of Jesus' blood, the absorption of Jesus' flesh will be nullified in our DNA, in our cells. Everything we have unknowingly absorbed in our food will be nullified. By partaking in the consumption of the body of Jesus, we can effectively nullify the impact of any illicit substance that may enter our physical form. Honor the Holy Sen. I have arrived to challenge a false Pentecostal ideology that attempts to convince or persuade others that the Holy Sen, the Holy Supper of the Lord, is exclusively to be consumed on Sundays within the confines of a church building. It's a lie. It's false. The Holy Saint, the Holy Meal and communion with Christ can be taken every day, can be taken with family, among Christian friends, in home cells, without necessarily waiting for Sunday. I am issuing a warning. And if I am in the prophetic spirit or a prophet, many will realize that by adhering to the heavenly order and partaking more frequently of the Holy Sen, they will purify their bodies and experience a positive transformation in their overall health and well-being. Consume my blood, ingest my flesh, because during the period of Noah, what kind of substances was he consuming and ingesting? A reign of cannibals. We do not practice cannibalism with Jesus, but when we sanctify the meal and take it as if it were a meal shared with Jesus and partaken in his life, then the bread becomes his life within us. The bread transforms into his beloved woundedness within us. The spiritual essence of his triumph deeply penetrates and saturates every part of our being. When we partake of the wine and proclaim we partake of the blood, it signifies that we are in communion with the sufferings of Jesus and with his blood, with the price he paid. We are identifying with the price paid in spirit before God. It is very important, extremely, extremely important. First recommendation, take the Sen River. Second recommendation, be wise, may God enlighten you. There are items do not buy any longer. There are brands God will show you. I cannot mention here, but I pray that God shows you. There are specific brands particularly designed for children. It is crucial not to take this anymore, because these are industrial products that now contain concrete evidence of very dangerous substances. So for the second advice, make sure to pray and pay close attention to what you eat and drink for optimal health and well-being. We have even moved to a higher level. The act of filtering water, I had talked about that. But now it's no longer sufficient. Take action. However, it is no longer enough, because even rainwater is polluted due to the presence of harmful substances in the air we breathe. Air pollution affects us through the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat, impacting our health and well-being. So we must be extremely careful. Second piece of advice. Third piece of advice. In order to truly devote oneself to God, it is absolutely essential to cleanse one's robe in the precious blood of the Lamb. What does that mean? It signifies that we must organize our lives. The white robe that belongs to us, which we will be adorned with in heaven, becomes tarnished when we sin and disobey God morally. when we carry out deeds that defile our inner being and place us in a state of transgression and moral wrongness before the divine presence of God. So you need to wash. You need to wash that. Correct your behavior, your character. Make sure to improve your behavior, your character. Sanctify yourselves. Then some will say, we have been sanctified. We're sanctified by blood. We are sanctified in spirit in heaven by the blood. And it is this sanctification that will cause our bodies to be changed. Nevertheless, the actuality of our everlasting sanctification must already commence in our terrestrial life on this earth. Otherwise, it would make no sense. If I say I am sanctified by the blood and have nothing else to do, then I will find an opportunity to live according to the flesh and live like a pagan, which would be a total contradiction to all of Paul's teachings that tell us we must strive to keep our body blameless and our conscience blameless. Therefore, it is imperative that we sanctify ourselves by entering into the process of sanctification through the blood of Jesus, which involves correcting and reforming our lives. One ultimate point, you must pray a tremendous amount all of the time without ceasing. If there's a time when we should give thanks when we go grocery shopping, it is now. When you go grocery shopping, do you put that in the fridge or in the pantry? I implore you, please. This is a warning from heaven. Put your hands on your belongings and pray. Prayer sanctifies. Pray, give thanks to God and ask God to open your eyes to the things you should no longer buy or other brands you should substitute for ones you are used to getting, and pray for sanctification. Pray as a family, pray at home, pray with your children, kneel down, call upon the Lord, and invoke the power of the chariots of fire for divine intervention. Oh, this is of utmost importance, possessing tremendous significance and an undeniable power that is truly awe-inspiring. You know, a substantial part of what I communicated to you, I received it with such a strong impact. There was scarcely a night when I was on a mission in Brazzaville, catering to all the residents of Brazzaville who faithfully follow my activities and updates. I hope I am not stumbling. I extend my greetings to you in the name of Jesus. Brazzaville is going to undergo a powerful revival. There is a breath that is coming upon Brazzaville. The DRC has had its share, but there is a cleansing coming to the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I predict that God is cleansing and will cleanse this year the excesses of certain ministries in Congo, Kinshasa, which have benefited from an extraordinary grace through a wonderful revival. However, Brazzaville is expected to surpass Kinshasa, and Brazzaville is expected to be visited by the fresh breath of the Lord. During my journey and service, I witnessed God transforming hearts and minds, bringing about a new mindset, a transformation of mindset, and a transformation of faith. I truly saw the power of God at work in changing people's lives. So, I was present at that location, and God communicated with me forcefully regarding food, informing me that we are rapidly approaching a deadline in which food will be entirely under the control of the prominent corporations in the world that manufacture it, and where governments no longer have any say or influence in the matter. That's how I said it. The farmers complain, but it's the government's fault, but it's the fault of the big retailers, who only wants profit, profit, and always profit. And they won't let go because mammon is terrible, you know. Mammon is awful. If you're a farmer and you follow me, I want to encourage you and announce that you won't succeed. So gather yourselves together, gain control, decrease your production, find solutions, alter your profession, but most importantly, humble yourselves in your field and ask Jesus to protect and guide you through these challenging times. Ask Jesus to protect you. It's not worth dying, really. It's not worth dying. Because you cannot maintain a farm from your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather. What is legitimate? Love and attachment to the earth. I can totally understand that. But this world will pass away. Stop clinging to the earth. Let go of the earth and cling to heaven to save your soul. I pray for the farmers that God may assist them. We desire to declare the gospel message. I want to tell you that the Lord spoke to me strongly and humbly. I am here to sound an alarm and to explain things to you. In the year of 2022, a profound darkness is predicted to emerge over the nation of France as well as the entire world. Be prepared. It is important to be aware that there are still various diseases and viruses that exist. It's just a lull that God has given us. It's just a lull that they allowed time to reorganize because they missed their goal in 2019. 2020 and 2021. They missed their goal. They stopped. They are regrouping. However, the revelation I received from the Lord pertains to Judas. This will be my final point as I conclude. I have a very clear and vivid vision of Judas positioned at the table in my mind's eye. And Jesus uttered, "Someone is about to betray me." He dips the bread into the dish that is positioned on the nearby table. And Jesus will say, "Do quickly what you have to do. Quickly, it is your time. Do it." There is no longer any form of restraint. Satan is no longer restrained in any way. In the heavens, God spoke, "Satan, now quickly carry out your necessary actions as required. Do quickly what you have to do. It's your time." The time of darkness has come and we can't do anything about it. What we can do is ensure our own protection. Because the good news is that Noah was saved in the middle of a corrupt generation. And that the church will be saved and lifted up into the clouds of heaven prior to the destruction of this world. That's exactly it. If you believe you will go through the tribulations, you are mistaken. God tells you, if you are pure like Noah, if you are not corrupted, then you will be shown in this ark that will take you to heaven. The ark being the church, the ark being the image of our gathering, of the bride that we are. We will depart and we will survive. Noah constructed the ark in the midst of the Nephilim, in the midst of the children of Anak, the Nephilim, among all these giants that existed at that time. And he was safeguarded, him and his family, they were safeguarded in the midst of chaos. And he must have been so full of enthusiasm to say, "I am in the midst of this atrocious spectacle and I am not affected, I am protected and I am waiting. That the waters rise because I will be taken up before God destroys this world." May God aid us, bless us, and grant us this pure awareness and desire to ensure that no one tampers with our DNA, that no product enters our bodies containing substances with a high likelihood of altering and disrupting our thoughts, our reasoning. May we be protected from any harmful influences that could compromise our physical and mental integrity. And may our minds remain clear, focused, and unwavering in the face of potential threats or challenges to our well-being. I am not the only individual stating this. The whole world has moved into a significant dictatorship, and I am not to blame for saying this. It's a fact. Many have said it before me, and others will say it again. You know, there are people who don't believe in God and are very brave to do research and expose errors, and God can even communicate through them. However, when a man of God emerges, the Bible states that if a man has risen and prophesied, it is from the Lord, from heaven. These are not our inventions. These are not the inventions of a fanatical religious person. I have 48 years of walking with Jesus, and my life is proof that I am not a fanatic. I have raised my children. I have a family. I have a position in this society. I was not involved in any scandal at the church, and I want to defend my case so that my message is heard. I want to defend with the lawyer who is the Holy Spirit so that it is understood that I am not crazy and that those who rise up like me are not crazy. We are perfectly balanced and not mentally disturbed, but we regularly peruse the Bible and God unfailingly pays us a visit. At times in the day, frequently at night, and shows us things that I had never seen previously. Everything I have explained to you, I have never seen until now, and I have more revelations for you. God bless you. See you soon.